Lyndon has a year left. Blackflame! Hello and welcome back to Shelf Centered. Thank you for centering with us. I have a review for Blackflame Book 3 in the Cradle series. So thanks for stopping by. Let's jump right into it. Blackflame is one of those, and just for heads up, this is going to be no spoiler, at least for Blackflame or anything after Blackflame in the series. Anything before is free game. I assume you're kind of going to know that because it's a sequel. But also don't forget to like and subscribe because I always forget to ask you that right off the bat. Right. Lyndon has a year left. When his time runs out, he'll have to fight an opponent that no one believes he can beat. Unless he learns sacred arts the right way from scratch, he won't have a chance to win, and even then, the odds are against him. In the course of their training, he and Yaren travel to the Blackflame Empire, where they fight to master an ancient power. Success means a chance at life, but failure means death. In the sacred arts, only those who risk the most can travel far. As we know from Soulsmith, Lyndon he's agreed to, I guess, somewhat, to fight a gold. And as I don't know, if I figure if you're here, you know what a gold is. Gold is a very high level, what's called sacred artist, but it's magic user. And so a gold has very many levels to it as well. And Lyndon is just a basic, what is he, copper at the beginning of this. All right, as we know from Unsouled and Soulsmith, there's a pretty intricate magic system to the Cradle universe. We've got kind of starting out at nothing, which is what Lyndon was for almost all of his life. Then we've got copper, we've got iron, we've got jade, then we've got gold, and then there's multiple stages in there. Lyndon is really still very much at the bottom. In where he grew up, actually, he's kind of toward the middle, if not toward the top, at this point after Soulsmith, because he has at least reached a stage. And so he's doing fine that way, and especially because where he grew up was where, I mean, literally a gold was almost unheard of and almost legendary, because the highest they made it was jade. And so, you start out with that. You start out with this, as the book blurb kind of states, Lyndon has got a year because he's got to fight Jai Long. And Jai Long, as we know from Soulsmith, he challenged him because Lyndon killed his buddy, and Jai Long is really mad at him. Jai Long, is a pretty good, bad guy here. He's out to go save his sister, and so you can't really hate on his motivations, but at the same time you're rooting for Lyndon, and Lyndon's got 1 year to fight a gold when he is a copper and barely really started his journey to actually, magic to reach any kind of rank. And so with that, at least Lyndon's got an underlord, which is beyond gold here. We're talking a level of advancement named Athen. Athen is probably one of my favorite characters ever. He's so great. He's just so nonchalant about really dangerous situations, and that makes me like him all the more. But Athen is kind of has taken Lyndon and Yaren, this friend obviously that he met back in Unsouled, who's been with him since, who kind of pulled him out of the Sacred Valley and started him on this journey. And so Athen's kind of taken them both under his wing to kind of train them. So automatically, but Athen's got these kind of goals that you're not quite sure of. You're going, anytime he does something, everyone around him who seems to know things is kind of like, what the heck are you doing? So you know that this isn't quite great. And anyway, without getting into spoilers, there's definitely some things he does that probably are against any of the rules, and which is why I'm dying to get into book 4. But anyway, without I'm not going into spoilers here for Blackflame, but one of the as far as Soulsmith kind of opened up the world. Unsouled kind of got us into the world, got us kind of in a very basic sense, because this one little tiny village really didn't know much anyway either. So they, Lyndon, as he learns more about this world, so are we. And so we kind of barely get introduced to, this is kind of a cool magic world with a kind of a magical hierarchy that you can rank up in. And so that's kind of what drew me in. And then Soulsmith goes, actually, you don't even know anything. You know nothing, Jon Snow. And you are introduced into then, okay, there's a whole world, and actually gold is a normal thing. And instead of being this like, is it even real? I don't know. Nobody knows, and nobody's reached that far. Then we learn in Soulsmith, actually very common. It's what's beyond that people now care about, and a low gold, as they call, kind of your basic gold, is a gold level, just kind of run of the mill and kind of low, even as the name kind of implies, even though it's way more advanced than anyone that Lyndon's ever been in contact with. So anyway, as far as Soulsmith kind of expands the world. Blackflame definitely expands the world, because we get a little bit more into what is the Black Flame, what is that all about. We kind of get a little bit into that, but I would say it's more of a training montage, if you're gonna give it anything, because we do have this year, and Lyndon's got to get to it, right? And so it's interesting the ways that Ethan kind of challenges him. And again, I think I've been a proponent of this since I first discovered the series. I just love Lyndon's attitude. It's more just like, I just think myself, I would be like, well, I don't want to do that, and I'd be like, you do it. But Lyndon kind of understands, like, I've got to go through these steps. I've got to make it fast, and I'm going to listen to the guy that knows. And so he gets that already, and he's just happy to be able to be at some level. So he almost immediately kind of jumps through some of these hoops. One of the cool parts of the whole thing is that there is this, literally this whole like trials that Lyndon's got to keep doing. It's so interesting, and just how he kind of progresses. You've got Yaren too. She's struggling because one of the things that happens when you become a gold is you've got to have a remnant, right? And so she actually has her old master's remnant, and she loved her old master. She planned on, she was his ride or die, and planned on being with him forever. And then, suddenly she's got his remnant. If you have someone's remnant, that means they died. Definitely. If they've released their remnant, they have died. And she's convinced that this remnant is still telling her things and still teaching her things. And so it's kind of her struggle, because if she would just kind of let go and let things happen, she could actually advance much more fast through her hierarchy. But she's trying to do things essentially the hard way. But what I also love is that they're also really awesome, and because I think both of them are very unique in their ways that they've approached magic, that they approach it in such a good way that it's different than your typical person, and therefore they're not ready to face this kind of much lower person who they automatically already undervalue and are underestimating, and then suddenly they're surprised. So I really love that. I don't want to get into any more spoilers there, but this is seriously, I have loved that I kind of randomly, I think I found Unsouled on Audible, and I kind of heard some good things about the Assassin series by Will Wight, and I just kind of, Unsouled was like $1.99, and so I grabbed it. And I happen to have $1.99 in my Audible account, and just was like, sure, I'll grab it. That's cheap. And I've loved it ever since. I'm so glad that I found this. Black Flame is a 9 out of 10 though. I don't. It was so good. I read my eyes out. I couldn't wait to go read it. This was one I did kind of half audio, half in Kindle, because I didn't understand how Audible works apparently, with their catalog. So I love me a good training montage, and this was done so well. And I just love watching Lyndon kind of grow here. So you got me on this one. I am diehard. This is, like I said, 9 out of 10. It was, I don't even know if there's anything wrong with it, because then the ending is just, oh my gosh, just, you're not ready for it. And I can't even, I'm like, just, I have other plans before I get into Skyward, or Skysworn. And so I can't just jump right into the next book, but I also found it for $1.99 since I already own it. So you better believe I already have it on audio. Anyway, definitely do yourself a favor. Get the Cradle series. It's worth it. It's so good. It's so much fun. I have so much fun with the series. You just got to jump onto it and just see what it's like. It's just a blast. I can't explain it more. It's not like it's gonna like win awards for prose, but that's not what it's trying to do. And it does what it's trying to do so well, and that's why it gets extra points for me. So anyway, highly recommended. Do it, make it happen. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for stopping by. Bye.